There we go. Is that it?
All right, hold on.
Figure this
I
out
would have to
after Windows
update,
Update seems to have
change
changed some
some
things
things.
here. Okay, that might be better. You're gonna have to, you might have to guide me on this one because nothing looks the same after this Windows Update. Sounds better for you guys, but it's not working for me here yet. Um, Good, but I can't hear you guys. So what else changed in this Windows Update here? Okay, try that. Here, Smarky, type something to me. Let's see if I can hear you. Hmm. You know. Okay. Try some more things. My monitoring on. Figure this out for me so we can get this thing going here. Advanced audio. No, not. Settings. Where are we? Audio. Output. Video. Advanced. Audio monitoring device. Okay. Is that it? Give me one more giggity. Oh man. No, this isn't working. Yeah, I can't hear you guys. This stinks. Okay. So if I hear you, then I also hear myself, which is like a minute later, which is driving me crazy. Why do I have this crazy loop? Yeah, it's a big power audio loop. Oh, found it. Found it. I fixed it. I can hear everybody. Oh, nope. It's just delayed even more. Yeah, tell me about it. Oh, oh, no. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Did that fix it? That's why I'm hearing myself 1 minute later. I had the YouTube link open in the background. Ah, such simple things sometimes, you know? So silly, stupid. I wonder why. Trying every audio setting, every audio setting in Windows. And of course, it all looks different. Yeah, it all looks different now with this latest update, so I automatically just blamed it on the update. Let's see. Am I too loud? Or am I alright? That looks good right there. Smarky can't fly. Check. Smarky can't fly. Alright. Okay. King of Hearts. There we go. My thinger's working. I gotta. You can't hear yourself. Like, are you supposed to? Did I screw something up? Did I turn off the audio? Did I accidentally kill the loop so that you guys can hear the text to speech? Oh, okay. That's still working? Okay. Oh, it's not reading the comments? Great. Okay. How do we fix that? You guys keep commenting so that I have something to go by. And let's see. Yeah, yep. Properties. Oh,
Smarky underscore FPV OK.
is that it?
Smarky underscore FPVI. Smarky
gotcha.
underscore FPV will. Smarky underscore FPV try. Smarky underscore FPV to talk.
Okay, now I know that you're hearing that and you're just being silly. Okay. King of Hearts. So tonight I wanted to go
Smarky
over.
underscore FPV got it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Marky. All right, I wanted to go over setting up. Right, we're gonna finish setting up our King of Hearts here, and I think that's a perfect time to show how to set up the failsafe for the Bando race because we'll be in beta flight, and I've never done it before. In fact, I'm way behind because I haven't built a quad in like a year. So I don't know what beta flight even looks like anymore. So I'll be doing this as a total noob. And so if I can figure it out on the fly blindly, then I don't think anybody should have too much of a problem figuring out how to set this up. So we got a couple things left on here. Probably get my soldering iron fired up. All right, couple things
Map
left.
Fender stock failsafe I think is fine.
Stock failsafe. Okay. Right. But it's not turned on by default, right? You do have to enable it. I don't believe... I believe it'll hold its throttle by default if it loses its signal, right? So I want to make sure... What we're trying to make sure is that if you lose your radio signal for whatever reason, and we're downtown, that it doesn't hold your last throttle position, that it's going to turn your motors off. It's really all we're looking for, right? Is if you get behind the silo or something.
Fender, no, I never messed with it and mine cuts.
Yours cuts? Oh, perfect. Yep, that's what we're gonna. Yours.
Matt Fender, it's butterflight, but I don't think that matters.
Don't think it matters. Okay, but did you have to turn it on? Because I don't think. Maybe I'm just on such old firmware that failsafe isn't turned on by default. Could that be the case? Because I want to say when we lose signal, it holds its attitude and it holds its throttle position. At least from the couple quads that are at the bottom of the river, that seems to be what happened. Anyways.
Matt Fender, no, but I also set my failsafe on my receiver. Smarky FPV, I have mine set to go as fast as possible.
I like it. I like that style. Go big or go home. Okay, a couple more parts. Got our
Smarky FPV on by default now.
on by default now. I see. We've got our video transmitter, and we've got our receiver, and we have our propellers, and so we'll go over that. Oh, I also got this came in the mail today. Yeah. Oh, fancy. That's going to be the cutter that I'm going to use for finishing up those Delta 5 timer boxes. If I can get it up there. It's not going to focus. It's a little 3-flute cutter, and it's coated for aluminum, and it's got a real shallow helix rather than like most of them kind of have a pretty high helix. For your normal your normal mill would have a higher helix than that. At least in the toolbox from my buddy's shop that I steal end mills from. Anyways, so that's got a little bit lower helix, and all that kind of helps is on my machine to not pull the spindle down from the cutter forces. So anyways, that came in the mail, so I can finish some Delta 5 timer boxes. And yeah, okay, let's grab some of this stuff and start putting this in here. All right, we got our video transmitter. I have the Maytech, right? The Maytech video transmitter. It's what the like Lumineer video transmitter is with the MMCX connector. I'm having a hard time getting into the packaging here. The heck, my razor blade. Smarky, I got razor blades all over the place. Find one. Okay. There we go. So that should fit the same hole pattern.
Opening a condom wrapper.
Hey, easy. Easy. Smarky. Alright. So, yeah. It's got the little shielding on it, and it's got that, the new connector on it, and the 2 buttons that are like on the edge of the board. And we've got our 2 mounting holes in the same spot, and I think if we put it in there right, then that little heatsink fills up the crown of our King of Hearts. Is that correct? Ooh, she's a little tight. A little tight in here. Oh yeah. Sweet, look at that. Now we got a nice little mirror behind the crown. That's awesome. And looks like our antenna is going to come out right where we can chop it off with the propellers. So it came with a right angle, right? So yeah, there's our little right angle there. So
Smarky FPV
that'll work.
The MMCX at a 90.
Yep, 90-degree MM6. That'll get us out of the way.
Pavlok 716 bonus.
Got- Finally found my tools after Maker Faire. Those I couldn't find where
Matt Fender's
everything got packed away.
an antenna on it.
Yeah, I don't want to put an end. Yeah, I agree, Fender. I will just put one of the Furious, probably a Furious antenna on there, right to it. Zip tie it down to the arm. Get my battery strap out of the way here. We can open the hood. There we go. Yeah, we can install our little guy.
PV hate the adapters.
Hate the adapters? Yeah, there's a fair amount of weight there with the little adapter too. What do we gotta do? Oh, so let's solder. Get things in order here. We gotta throw our XT60 connector on here for our battery so we can start firing this thing up. Check our motor directions and stuff. Get some heat shrink here. Ooh, that's kind of tight. Work. Cut up our heat shrink. Nothing fancy here. Just regular old Home Depot heat shrink. You're in a pinch. Okay. Soldering iron, we're sitting at about 750 degrees. And I'm just going to add a little bit to those pre-tinned wires.
FPV have go pick kit up, be back in 25 minutes.
Sounds good, Smarky. We'll see you in 25. Okay, so I just added a little bit of extra solder to those wires. They came pre-tinned, but that solder, I don't know, it doesn't have any lead in it, so it doesn't flow very good. So I just kind of replace the solder with some 6040 solder, right? So it's got some lead in it. And then I'm going to take my little XT30 and fill the little cups up with some solder. Okay. And then I'm going to definitely not wire these incorrectly. Never done that before, ever. So black goes to the minus side, which is also the like triangular side on your XT connectors. Oh, that's hot. Okay, and red to plus, which is on the square side of your XT60. Okay. Go. I'm too embarrassed to show that under the microscope. Nah. Here we are. And slide my heat shrink down. And I'm just gonna let that chill for now, because heat gun's not plugged in. Okay. We left our two wires coming off of our Foxier camera. They're just chilling out on the back here. And those are going to go to the power supply on this Maytech here. So the Maytech's got a 727 volt input on it. Should also have a power supply that we can run this camera off it. Okay, so it's got a 5 volt line on it. And we've got our ground and our video transmit, receive, transmit, receive, video, audio. Okay, this thing does more things than just the normal thingy. Okay. But we can talk to this? We can talk to this in Betaflight, can't we? Figure out how to do that. 7 to 27 volts. So that means we kind of have to bring some power up from our ESC as well, doesn't it? Go in. Ooh, and we need to jump our video wire from the whatchamajigger. Alright. Means I need some extra wires. Cut up all of our wires.
Matt Fender TX UART from the FC.
I can go to a UART. Alright. Alright, we got a little yellow wire here. I don't know if I want to cut this wire. Where to... what the heck, right? Okay, so we've got video in and video out because this flight controller OSD. Our video out is going to go to the video
Matt
in.
Fender, I'm not sure which pin on that VTX and it runs the tramp protocol.
Tramp protocol. Would it be the receive pin? Sometimes they don't quite label those correctly. That wire is going to video out. This wire we gotta make long enough to get over our video in. Over on this side. That should be enough wire. Where my wire cutters at? There we go. Discard that. And find what I did with my...
Matt Fender, normally it would, but I think it might be TX. I remember Smarky having some issue a few months back.
Right. Like you would think that it would go into the receiving line, right? Transmit on the flight controller, going into receive on the video transmitter. That might not be the case. I strip these little fine wires just with a razor blade. I roll them across my thumb. That is my favorite technique. Tin these wires. A little solder on them. Get these pads ready on the video transmitter. So we've got voltage in, power the video transmitter.
Matt Fender, I had a weird FD adapter a while ago where the screening was wrong, so TX went to TX and RX went to RX.
Yeah, if I feel like might run into that. Audio, don't have audio. Video, ground, 5 volts. Okay, that was terrible. Bad solder job on that one. A decent looking board with the like matte black solder mask on it. Okay, now let's get our wires in. So we're gonna power our camera off of this video transmitter. Hopefully that gives us good clean video. So quiet without Smarky here. Okay, there's that. So camera's powered and we've got video go into our transmitter. Now we've got to power the transmitter. And that's going to require additional wire coming up from below. Let's see. Does that pad actually have power going to it? I'm going to have to take a gander. Right? Because we're using the ribbon cable to come up to our flight controller. So I'm going to kind of assume that the battery voltage pad might actually have battery voltage there. So rather than assume, let me grab the old multimeter. Okay. Take a look at what's going on here. To double check that is a good assumption. Grab a battery here and see what we got. Got a dead battery, so there's 10 volts in that battery, and everything look good. Like I can put power to it. Sure. Cross your fingers. Well, no smoke, and the ESC's booted. Okay. All I need to do now is like slip with my fingers here and short something out. Let's do this without slipping up. And yep, we got 10 volts on that pad. Okay, so those are connected. Excellent. So I just have to run a wire. That pad there, it's labeled VB plus. Voltage battery positive.
Matt Fender, I always pick a ground nowhere near the pad I'm testing it.
Yeah. Yep. I think I did a good number to Pizza the Hut's no, Smarky's? Oh, somebody's flight controller. I was trying to help. Trying to be helpful. And I slipped my fingers. And the board wasn't working before. It definitely was not working after I did that. Okay. Did I give myself enough wire here? Or do I keep putting my cutters down? Desk space. Alright, hopefully these wires are heavy enough. They're kind of light. But we do have a target to stay under our 250 grams with this guy, right? Tin my wires. Messaging me. Scully's messaging me. Tell Scully to jump in and we can answer his questions here. Actually, those questions I might not want to answer here. Alright. Retin my wires. These hooked up, so I need a ground pad. Be over here. Nope, I don't want that ground pad. Do we have more than one? Got one right there. Oh, this tip's so dirty. Marty, it's very embarrassing. You can make things real easy on yourself by keeping your tools in good shape. This tip is ready to be replaced. You can fight it, or you can just put a fresh tip on
Matt Fender out of
and make really nice solder.
Or 63/37.
60/40. Fender, you're talking about the solder? I've got, it's 0.8 millimeter, 60/40.
Matt Fender yet.
Any comments, you can direct those to Cram Knit Ram. That's probably where the solder came from. Right, Marty? Okay, now that I found my tools from Maker Faire, everything was packed in, and we had multiple people packing. I couldn't find anything. I finally found all my tools. Grab my my Allen set here. Right. Just want to tighten up the camera now that we're in a position to do so. And hopefully we can see what Betaflight says. Okay, there's that. Where's my other screw? Fight me a little bit. And she stripped. Okay, that's the downside to using these ball and Allens. Those.
Tram 1 I use 63/37.
Marty, what are you giving me the stuff that you don't use? Is that what it is? I see. I see how it is. This is the leftover crap. Is that what I get? That's all I deserve, right, Marty? I'm no electronics guy. I'm one of those mechanical guys that screws everything up. Thinks they know what they're doing.
Cram Nitram 1 I didn't give that to you.
No? Where did it come from then? Actually, let's not discuss it. I say that I bought this just so long ago that I can't remember where. Pick out some screws for the transmitter here. Yep. Are we good? I got everything wired? I think so. Pop this on there.
Cram Nitram one by a good brand like Kester.
This is Nippon. Need a longer screw. What did I pull out of the box here? 6mm. I need something like 8. Where's my low profile heads? In here? Yeah, there they are. I like these low profile heads. 8. There's 8. See if that's long enough to get through my stack here. Yes, it is. Alright, those. Uh-oh, stainless steel screws. We're adding weight. Adding weight. Grab some nuts. Lock nut? No, lock nut too heavy. We'll use a little PEM nut here, which is the wrong application for this. But who cares? Nope, that's not going to be fun. Yeah, close your eyes, people. Bad. We're adding way too much stainless hardware here.
Matt Fender, my guess is that's not making weight unless it's a 3's battery or a really small 4's.
Fender, listen. Win it and then change this out to nylon. That's the best I can do for you. Oh wait, here's a box of nylon. Ah, we're in luck. Look at that. I do have stuff in this office here. I thought I was saving myself a trip to out to the trailer. I got some nylon here. Put this stainless steel aside. Get some of the nylon out. Got some 8mm. There we go. Oh, can we just use the standoff? Oh, that probably worked too. Oh, things are getting really interesting now. Okay, let's use a really short screw and some of these standoffs. There we go. I don't know. You probably can't see what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing some of these little guys. You're right. You guys recognize those. Now, if my fingers will do what my brain tells them to do. There we go. Oh. Come on, fingers. My fingers aren't following my brain's instructions. They used to work better when I was younger. Building plastic models in the basement in a small room with no fan. Now they don't work as good. There we go. The thing I don't like about the way this is stacked up is that I have wires bridging two separate plates. And I'll kind of show you what I mean there. So from a mechanical point of view, that's not an awesome way to do things, right? So we have our stack, and the video transmitter is attached to...
I tried 63/37. Liked the 60/40ths more.
Yeah, I don't have anything to compare solder to. This solder's working good for me. So yeah, so mechanically I don't like this, right? Video transmitter is attached to the top plate, and so if this comes off, it's pulling all those wires off with it. I kind of like everything to be attached to the same base plate, so I would call that a micro fail on our design. Not like a critical design flaw, but could be better. Room for improvement, right? Get a B. A B. Needs improvement. Okay. We got one more thing to solder, don't we? Side. Gotta put our receiver in there. So I'm Spectrum person. So I am going to put a Spectrum satellite in here. And all you fancy people can swap out whatever you want in here, but I'm sticking with Spectrum. At least for the foreseeable future. I mean, I like what the other radio has, but I don't have time for it. I just want to bind it and be done. So, this is the their FPV satellite, right? Their little FPV satellite. It's kind of got the medium length wire. Some of my quads just have the regular Spectrum satellites in them. They all work as long as you don't put the antennas in a dumb spot where they're blocked by a ton of carbon. Work good. So I'm gonna plug it comes with this wire here, jumper. I'm gonna plug one end into the receiver, and then we'll figure out how long we need to be, and we'll solder the other end down to our board. And so we made that nice little cubby hole in our 3D printed top mount. Let's see if this actually goes in there. She's looking a little tight. Not gonna lie. Looking a little tight. Oh my. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. God, that's tight. That's not gonna go in that cubby hole. Okay. We'll just strap it on for now. How much wire are we gonna need? We'll go around the side. Let's get this puppy wired up so that we can dive into beta flight here. That's our goal. So I'm gonna have to go back in. We'll go back into SolidWorks. We'll open up the hole in our 3D printed part and run another one. Give ourselves a little bit more room. I probably drew a regular Spectrum satellite in SolidWorks. It's probably the model I dropped in, and I don't know if they're a different size. Maybe this seems to be a little bit thick right through here, and doesn't want to go inside of the of its little home there. So we're gonna have to modify. All right. Trimmed up and get some solder on these. So we got 3 lines. We got ground. We got 3.3 volts on a spectrum. And we've got our data. So get a little bit of solder on these wires. We'll nail them down to our pads, which it looks like we already kind of set that up. Room for all this stuff to come through. That'll have to come out this side. Okay, receive 3. That's our gray wire. And our little orange wire is going to 3.3 volts on this board, and our black's going right around to our ground pad, kind of next to that 3.3 volt. Okay. I think we're done soldering. I think that's it for solder. Time to program. See if this thing will fire up on beta flight. On. And let's see. Out of USB. So gotta unplug something. Have to unplug my fancy pants stream deck there. Hopefully I don't unplug the wrong thing. Good. And oh, I hope this hope we don't have to do any kind of driver dance here. Let's see. Beta flight. There. Cross your fingers. Oh, see something. Connect to it. Oh, it's there. And orientation is even correct. Fantastic. Let's see if I can pull up the double screen here. There you go. You can see me there. So when I tip the quad, it matches on the screen. Beautiful. Perfect. That is good to know. We're off to a good start already. What could go wrong? Okay. What's on this thing? Beta flight 3.2.1 is on this guy. I'm not going to bother flashing it to the latest thing because I don't want to go down that wormhole if that goes wrong. Just want to kind of take a look at this fail safe and our settings here. So on the setup page, I can see that the flight controller is oriented the correct way. Skipping down to ports. On my port page here, we've got to set up our Spectrum receiver on the correct port. We plug that into RX3, so that's UART3, and we're gonna turn serial RX off on UART1 and move it over to UART3. I believe that's the correct thing to do there. Because I think UART1 would be if we were using our S-Bus. Okay, and the rest of it should be fine. I'm going to save and reboot. And power cycle this board here. Okay, yep, it kept our change there. Okay, configuration page. All right, here we can set up. We've got a normal X quad, that alone. Our ESC features, we can turn the speed of the ESCs up. So by default, we're on 1-shot 125. That's a couple-year-old protocol, and while it is pretty good, I think we're going to take this thing up to like D-shot 600. Will that work on this? What do we put in here? Hobby wing stuff, right? What's the spec for the speed on this thing? D-shot 600. Okay. So you got to be careful. Not all ESCs are fast enough to support all of these protocols. The bigger the number, the faster that the flight controller is talking to the ESCs. And so you gotta stay within the hardware specs here.
2 or Blue Helix.
It is DL Heli S D-shot 600. Should do it, right? I'll give it a try. What the heck is ProShot 1000? Man, I'm way behind. I don't know what ProShot 1000 is now. Don't spin motors when armed. I don't like that. That mode scares crap out of me. So we're gonna do that and also change our PID loop here, or not our PID loop, but our update frequencies here. 8K. We can go faster than that, right? What the heck is in here? This is an F4 with an OSD. 8K, 8K. That sounds like a good gyro and PID loop. 8K, 8K. We don't need a barometer. And I'm not even going to turn the accelerometer on.
Some weird thing where they were trying to make shot more like multi-shot speed, while still being able to use turtle mode.
Ah, okay. So ProShot. D-shot. Faster D-shot with turtle mode. Interesting. Board and sensor alignment. So if your board was turned in a different direction, that's where you're going to make those adjustments. Anything else need to set up here? Receiver. Spectrum satellite. And we are Spectrum 2048. So that's the faster of the two Spectrum protocols. But you have to make sure, at least on my remote, I have to make sure that I change my frame rate on my remote to the 11 milliseconds instead of the default 22 milliseconds. And other features, all we want is the OSD, beeper configuration. I'll just leave that alone, and we're going to save and reboot. Okay, take a peek, make sure everything's saved. Yep, everything's saved. It is now running at 8K, 8K. Everything's blinking, and we're at 4% CPU load. So we're still in good shape there. I don't know that we really need to go crazy with some ridiculous speed.
Smarky FPV, I'm back.
You're back, you missed it. We're all done. No, we're just in beta flight setting things up here. Power and battery. I'm gonna leave that alone. PID tuning. I kind of want to change this to the way I fly. So where are we? I'm cranking up the RC rate. Come on. There we go. To get me up into the like 850-ish range. 850. That's kind of my racing range. 800-ish on the yaw. 850 on the roll and pitch.
Smarky_FPV.
And that's about it.
The 8K part.
We did 8K for our PID loop and our gyro update. Yeah, we got this is a F4 board and we're running at 4%. So we got plenty of overhead to do fancy filtering and whatnot. But this is how I set up my quads. I just go in and hit my 2 rates there. And that's about it. We'll save those settings there. If it was a freestyle quad, I might be up a little bit higher than that with some more expo. Just for like some super snappy rolls and stuff like that. But yeah, probably about where I would put most of my quads out of the box. Okay, receiver. I'm gonna have to grab my remote for that. Modes, and I'm gonna need my remote. Motors, get there. OSD. Fancy. I'm gonna have to play with that. Black box. CLI.
Smarky_FPV. Not really clear what TH8K does.
That's the speed that your flight controller is operating at. So I gotta get out of here. So the gyro, the first number. Oh, I did it now. There we go. Okay, so PID, where are we? Configuration? Okay, configuration. System configuration. Over here, you've got your 2 frequencies, gyro update and your PID loop. So the gyro update is how often it reads the information coming from your gyroscope. The faster it reads the gyro, basically, the faster you can read it, the better. As long as you're not hurting things because you don't have enough processor power to do it. But if you have the processor power to do it, if you got the right components on your board, faster, pretty much better. Your PID loop frequency, that's like how fast it's doing the math. So it's going to read the gyro and then run the PID loop, and the PID loop is going to make the adjustment to the quad based on what it read on the gyro and execute that like new movement. And yeah, the faster it can do that math, faster it can read the gyro, the more locked in and precise the quad will be. Yeah, you just have to make sure that you're not like going beyond what your hardware is capable of doing. We'd need to take a look at what gyroscope is on this Hobbywing Nano flight controller. My guess is that it probably can go higher than 8K, but it is kind of a diminishing returns thing. I think being at 8K is probably a pretty solid start. Yes, anyway, where were we? And kind of the faster you can run those things, faster you can do that math, the less filtering you should need. The filtering comes in. Filtering kind of, actually the PID loop really kind of fills the hole. It fills the gap between reading the gyro and making some sort of correction.
Smarky_FPV. What's a good processor usage to be under? Havlock 716. So any speed will work as long as the board can handle it. Matt Fender. It's probably a 6000 and Blueheli_S can't run faster unless you use multi-shot.
Yeah. Yep. All the caveats start to stack up, right? So we can, what Fender's saying is how the speed of BL Heli S would be our limiting factor here. So even though we can read our gyro really fast, do our PID loop math really fast.
716 and it would fly even if the speed was lower? I've honestly never even touched that number.
Yes. How can we go through PID loops real quick, right? So
That fender and it's probably a MPU 6000 gyro.
yeah, the reason you have like your oscillations, right, and your like little choppiness and stuff in the corners, it all has to do with the fact that you're always reading the gyro in the past, right? And you need to predict what's happening in the future, right? But obviously we can't read a value from the future. We can only read values from the past. And the faster you can read those values, the closer that value is to the present time, right? And I know this is all happening at like a nano scale, but it is important to try to get as fast as real time as possible. Being able to see into the future would be like perfection, right? Then you would never have a quad that is sloppy or oscillating or anything like that, because you could predict the future. But anyways, you've read a value from the gyro, and the time it took to read that means that value is already obsolete. It happened in the past, and now you have to make a correction with the motors, and you're making the correction based on an assumption of where the quad is going to be given the value that you read a couple microseconds ago. I think I got that, and maybe you followed along, I don't know. But so the faster you can read it, the closer to real time you're doing your calculations.
Good explanation.
Right? So if you've got really low numbers, so like let's say you're back in the days of your NAS 32 and you're at like 2K instead of 8K, right? You're reading the gyro pretty slow, so a lot of time has passed from the time that you read your gyro to the time that you're going to give your motors an instruction. A lot of time has gone by. And so your PID loop is very important, because the PID loop is kind of what tries to predict the future. And so if you're not doing a good job at predicting the future, that's when you get quads that oscillate and chop in the corners and stuff like that. And so when you're reading slower, you got to have a good PID tune. When you're reading faster, your PID tune starts to be a lot more forgiving, right? Okay. Failsafe.
Matt,
Where is that?
I'm not sold on loop speeds. I bet you can't tell the difference between 8K 8K and 2K 2K.
I would have to say, Matt, on the quads, it would come down to the tune, right? At 8K 8K, you've got a broader range of values for your PID tune that are going to be acceptable. Whereas when you're starting to go down to 2K 2K, or let's say if you even went even slower than that, your PID values have to be more precise. You don't have as much like wiggle room with the PID values. And I don't know, at least that's my experience. Results may vary. Expert mode. There, expert mode has exposed our failsafe tab. And let's see where we are and what these new defaults are. So valid pulse range settings. Okay, so if it sees value outside of those numbers, it's going to go into failsafe. Channel fallback settings. ARM.
Fender PT1 with the dynamic filter, both gyro notches off, and I bet it's basically fine at any speed.
Yeah. And that comes down to the processors now are fast enough to do fancy filtering, right? When we were back in the 8-bit board days where you couldn't do any crazy math, your PID loop had to be dead nuts on, right? And I think, like, at least with some of the quads that I set up last year, I would turn a lot of that filter stuff off, and I don't know, they fly
Matt
They fly
Fender
pretty
Lux
good.
Float.
Lux float. Huh. Oh, I love my old Lux boards. Anyhow, okay. Here's our failsafe menu. Failsafe has 2 stages. Stage 1 is entered when a flight channel has an invalid pulse length. Okay. An invalid pulse length means that it can't see your radio anymore. And so it's going to go outside of these 2 ranges. It's probably going to drop below the minimum. Okay. If the receiver reports failsafe or there is no signal at all.
Fender, that was the PID loop calculator on Clean Flight.
I always went to Lux Float. Anyways, okay. The channel fallback settings are applied to all channels. A short amount of time is provided to allow for recovery. Stage 2 is entered when the error condition takes longer than the configured guard time while the aircraft is armed. Okay, so guard time for stage 2 is 4. 4 equals 0.4 seconds. All right, so that's pretty quick. Failsafe throttle, low delay. Just disarm the craft instead of executing the selected failsafe procedure when the throttle was low for this amount of time. Okay, so we're going to hold, if we lose contact with our radio, we're going to hold our values for 0.4 seconds, after which we're going to go to low throttle for just a little bit. Failsafe low delay. Is that 10 seconds? 100 tenths of a second. So 10 seconds, it's going to be, the throttle is going to be at minimum throttle. And after that, it's going to disarm. Okay. We don't want land, right? I don't want any of the quads trying to land themselves autonomously. What we want is for the quad to drop. We want the quad to disarm if it loses its radio and fall out of the sky. And hopefully that will end better than a hot quad going in a random direction at 100 miles an hour. So yeah, I would say the fail-safe defaults look pretty good. And you're right? These are all on by default. Excellent. Okay. I guess the next thing to do is to test that theory. So let me grab my remote and let's bind this thing and see what happens. All right. Old trusty Spectrum here, and these Spectrum receivers have auto bind on them, so it is currently blinking. It is looking to bind to something. So let me find a free model here and get this thing bound. Setting all my switches away from myself. Model select. We're full. I have to find something that is broken and no longer in existence. There we go. That one will do. Reset. Data will be reset. I'm good with that. Double good with that. Okay. Let's see if this will bind here. Usually you can't be right on top of the receiver or it fails. Holding it a couple feet away. And I forgot to change the frame rate. Yell at me for that. Okay, let's go in there and change that to 11 milliseconds here. Frame rate 11 milliseconds. Okay. There we go. It looks like Betaflight sees my remote. Choose spectrum from the channel map and trim these values out. Okay. Now we got to go through our fun setup, right, of doing our servo range setup, our travel, right? So 147%. Oh, I forget how much fun this is. 147%. Ailerons. 147%. Elevator, 147%. Rudder, 147%. I don't want to hear it if the Tyrannus is better than this. Don't tell me. And we probably have to reverse some of these. Okay, so I'm going to take a look. I want to see the bar graph does the exact same thing that my sticks do. So if my stick goes down, that bar graph should go down. Why is roll throttle? Because we didn't save. All right, there we go. Okay, throttle goes, you want to see values that go from 1000 to 2000. And I'm going from 999 to 2001. We're off by 1. That's perfectly acceptable. Okay, and my throttle is throttle up, bar goes up, throttle down, bar goes down. I want to make sure all of them do that. So let's check our rudder. No, rudder needs to be reversed.
716, you said it.
Okay, so now our rudder is reversed. Check. Aileron needs to be reversed. Okay, I go right, I go left. Perfect. And elevator is good, does not need to be reversed. Okay, then the last thing I want to do is I want to get all these numbers set to 1500. So I'm going to do some trimming. Let's go into not travel, but our sub trim. There we go. So elevator. Start with aileron. Aileron is at 1518, so I'm just going to trim this to get it to 1500 exactly. There we go. Then elevator, and we're going to trim that till we see 1500. Sometimes you can kind of just touch the stick there, make sure the stick is in the middle. Being off by 1 or 2 is perfectly fine. Rudder, let's see, 1500. There we go. Okay, so now values are all in the center. The quad, can't see because my camera's blocking it. Okay, so now you can see the little quad. It is not spinning like crazy because now all my values are good. And you also want to see that the quad does what you expect it based on your input. And it looks like it is responding correctly. So I can hit save over here. And take a look at firing up these motors. So I'm going to head over to our motor tab and hook up. battery. And that's going to boot up our ESCs. So I'm going to check the box that says that the props are not attached to the quad. And you definitely do not want to have props attached to your quad when you do this. I have learned that lesson the hard way. Don't do it. It's really stupid. It doesn't matter how much time you are saving yourself by not taking them off. When you make a mistake like, arm it full throttle, you will wish those props were not on there. And nothing. So I'm guessing I need to calibrate my ESCs here before this is going to work. Okay, I'm going to take my master slider all the way to 2000. I've unplugged my battery. I'm plugging it back in. And my ESCs should play some music. They're not. To me, that says that either this battery is a little low or that D-Shot 600 is no good here.
Matt Fender shot doesn't have to
Oh!
calibrate.
Thanks, Fender. Yeah. Thanks. And
Matt Fender is ESC plugged in.
yeah, ESC's plugged in. It was making music before. You're right. I'm a dummy. I also don't know if this battery has much juice in it because I think I used this battery to power up a LED strip at the track. That battery's too low. That's the problem. Okay. I need an arming switch. That's where I like my arming switch. Oh, for now we can do this. Okay, so our motors are spinning. Curious if they're spinning the right way. I have one motor that's spinning the correct direction. All the rest of them are backwards. Awesome. Okay. And this battery is about to die. Okay. Well, anyways, to prove a point, I wanted to arm the motors. No, I need to arm the motors with the remote. Holy cow, this is complicated. Switches. Like I said, I didn't practice this. That way I could figure this out on the fly. If I can figure it out by the seat of my pants, yeah, we should all be able to figure this out. Okay, with F mode, I want that to be auxiliary 1.
Smarky FPV thanks every build I have ever had never get motor right the first time.
Okay. Need an arm. Okay, auxiliary 2. So arm, when I pull the switch towards me, that is going to be armed. Slide this right over there. Okay, that should arm the quad. Save. Arm. Disarm. Okay. I think we're running out of juice in our battery here. Out of go juice here. It's definitely arming. Motors aren't spinning anymore. I want to say that I have a dead battery. This battery seems to be dead as well. Let me go into my backpack and grab another battery. Grab all the batteries. One of these will have juice in it. Not that one. Try this one. Perfect. That one's got juice. Right. Our quad there. There you can see it. Probably hear it. Looks like we got a lazy motor there. We'll have to look at that. How do you reverse the... We're gonna have to learn how to reverse the motors in D-Shot. Okay, so if I turn my... I've got the motors on, and let's actually set my throttle high. And I'm gonna turn my remote off. And there, my motors have turned off. Okay. Well,
At Fender, go to the Bluehell configurator.
if you are on latest beta flight, you should be in good shape unless you have screwed around with it. So, like when we go to the Bando race, on check-in, have your quads with your props off.
Sweet reverse motos.
DL Heli configurator. Yeah, I don't have that installed on this computer. Okay. But that's okay. I'll do that on my own. Or we can do that next week. Yeah. But yeah, fail safe. No sweat. Nothing to worry about. If you're on the latest software, you're good. If you're on old software, go in there, find the fail safe tab, and make sure that it's active and that it's not turned off by default or anything like that. Because this is the behavior that we want to see. We want to see the motors completely shut it off when you turn your radio off. So part of the check-in procedure at the Bando is just going to be to power up your quad, no props. You're going to arm it and then shut your remote off. And we just want to see that all your motors turn off and that they don't go sky high. And you will get a tag on your quad saying that your quad's been inspected and it's good to fly at the Bando. So there we have it. Yeah, that was no sweat at all. And our little guy here is almost ready to fly. Said we just got to tuck that receiver in there. We can take it for a test flight. So I've turned my remote back on.
And me are gonna smash stuff.
Time to smash some quads. I really want to put props on this thing. I do. I've got BL Heli configurator on my laptop. I just might have to finish this guy up and take it for a little spin. Oh, I can't take it for a spin unless I record it though, in case we have something dramatic happen.
Smarky FPV check video.
Oh, you know what? I shouldn't. Yeah, my video transmitter is getting hot. I don't have an antenna on there. Okay, so I shouldn't play around with that for too.
FPV BL Heli is a Chrome app.
BL Heli is a Chrome app. BL Heli configurator. Okay. Put it on here. Let's see. Do I disconnect my quad from Betaflight here? Fire this guy up.
Havlock 716 Ben and I tested my failsafe last week. I turned the transmitter off, but the Tyrannese has a menu alarm telling me to hit enter, then the motors shut off. Does that work?
I think that the behavior that we want to see is that you don't have to do anything, right? Like if your quad went behind the silo and it lost its communication with your transmitter. You turned. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's because you're turning the transmitter off, right, Ben? Or right? You have lock. Yeah, that's okay. It's just asking you that you're sure that you want to turn the transmitter off, right? Yeah, I think that's okay. It's not going to ask you if you have lost your quad. It's just trying to stop you from turning your transmitter off when you're flying.
Yeah, but on Tyrannese you have to confirm you turning the TX off while bound.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I don't see that as being a problem. We just want to see that once that link is gone, that the motors are off. Okay, make sure you've taken propellers off. Connect power. Uh-oh, I mixed up my batteries. Read setup. Okay. Motor direction. Where are my motors? Oh god, it's been so long I don't even know what the motors are. Help me out here, guys, in chat.
Havlock 716 sweet. Yeah, I had a mishap yesterday. It def fail saved for me.
Right into the mud?
Right into the mud.
Sweet. Sorry to hear that. Chat, what motor is this one that my finger's on? Because that motor is good.
Smarky_FPV update firmware.
Is this ESC 1? 1, 2, 3, 4? It's been a while. I don't have the thing in front of me. This is 1, right? Confirm for me, chat.
FPV1.
Awesome. Okay, so that one I can leave alone. All the rest of them have to reverse. So, first. First.
Matt Fender 1 yes.
Update the firmware? Are you crazy? That makes me way too nervous. I don't have the nerves for that. Let me see if you guys were right. Yes. Yep. All the motors are now throwing grass at the electronics.
FPV yes.
We're good to go. Thanks, chat. You guys are the best. That means this thing is
Smarky_FPV not so easy.
ready to go. Yeah, they make it too easy to. No, we say it's easy, but I don't know. We do have to remember what it was like the first time we plugged one of these into our computers. It was interesting. Remember back to those days when nothing worked the way it was supposed to, and you'd screw up your computer and your laptop with all kinds of driver nonsense, and one board would read, then you'd install the drivers for your new board that you just bought, and then it wouldn't read the board in your other quad anymore. The good old days. Maybe you guys didn't have that. I know I certainly dealt with that. Somebody'd come into the shop and I'd have to plug their board in and then fix that quad, and then my laptop won't read any of my quads anymore. You know, all kinds of fun stuff. So, yeah. Pilots, I think we made in this thing at the race on Saturday. I don't know. What do you say? I think that works for me. I'm gonna have to set up the video. Who's gonna fly it? Me? We have an elected official, and I'll film it. Should we roll? Should we spin the wheel for it? I could set up the wheel. We could spin for it to see who gets to maiden this thing. Plug my little toy back in so we can spin that wheel.
Smarky underscore FPV, what's it weight?
Good question. You want it with a battery or without a battery? Or both?
Havlock 716, yes, the Birdman.
You guys see my scale over there? It is 145.
Smarky underscore FPV, both.
145, no battery.
Havlock 716, the wheel sounds fun too.
If I put a 653 cell on there, we are at 200 even. 200 even. Props. Don't forget props. We gotta get some props on there.
Fender, you need props.
I definitely said that before the chat came through. I know there's a delay, but I'm on to you. What do I got here?
Smarky underscore FPV, what's a 3 cell?
What's a 3? Listen, Smarky. When you fly 2 times a year, you gotta keep it easy. Keep it down low with the power.
Matt Fender and prop nuts.
I've got some of these. Where are they? Gemfan durable high efficiency 4052s. Flashes. Gemfan flashes. 4052s. In clear.
Matt Fender, just run 2 in series, you're good.
Ooh, 6 cell.
Havlock 716, low PID loop.
Okay. 216. 216 with the props. Prop nuts. Prop nuts. Who's got prop nuts? Will you guys accept if I just put some steel nuts on here? I don't know if I have some prop nuts. Here are some steel quarter 20s. No way the prop nut weighs more than those. There's 4 of them. We're at 27. 227. Anything else? Antenna. We don't have an antenna on there. Let's put the adapter on there. That weighs about as much as an antenna. 232. What else are we missing? Let me see if I've got a heavier battery. Let me see if I got one bigger.
Havlock 716, Bill, will you have a few packs of those with you Saturday?
All I got near me is like a 1300 3 cell. And a 1300 3 cell makes it 279. So that ain't gonna work. All right, back to the 650. I think there's a good way to represent a 4 cell 650 on here. 6 cells too much. 6 cells over at 275. I don't know. Well, if we take the battery out of the equation, we are at 177. Oh, All we gotta beat is this guy here. There's my 250. As long as you guys are equal or lighter, good to go.
70 grams.
70 grams? How tight is that going to be, man? $247. Well, those prop nuts are going to be those nuts that I threw on that scale are a little overweight. I'm going to say it's going to come in underweight when it's ready to fly. I don't. I would. I might take it up with this Tattoo 653 cell just to. No, I have it handy. I don't know. I don't think I have a 4 cell handy in my personal stash. I'd have to dive into my open up something in my inventory or something. Anyways, I'm pretty happy. And let's see. Friend is up here now. What time is it, Baby Black? Oh, don't. Kitty, get down. Oh, he's gonna knock my remote off the table. Shoo! Oh, he wants to sit in the foam. That's what the problem is. Nope. Nothing like an open box with foam in it to attract a cat. A cat trap. Okay, can I put these props on though? Really excited. I'm gonna put the props on. Not gonna fire it up though.
Havlock 716, not much is less than 70 grams. Even the 3 cells. I've looked them all up. I'm at 248 grams.
So this 653 cell from Tattoo measured 56 on my scale. But you would probably yeah, like this 650 probably would barely cut it. It really probably needs to be an 800 in order to finish a race at 3 cell. Right. There's still a little heat on that video transmitter. Wasn't paying attention. Should have had that antenna on there. All right. I think that's a wrap for tonight. We'll see everybody on Saturday for our 250 shootout. Oh, I'm gonna get there early. I'm gonna be there for the schedule that I posted, but rather than me going back and updating all my links and all my pictures and stuff like that, I'll be there for those times. And like, if you can't come till like 1 o'clock, that's fine, because I will integrate the 250 class into the open class during our main race from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock or whatever it happens to be, and we'll do it that way too. So if you come out early in the morning, we're gonna play with the 250s. We'll like weigh in and stuff like that. We'll run our 250s, and then after we run a couple heats of the 250s, then we'll try out the Lone Star Enduro, where we're gonna try to get as many laps as you can in 10 minutes, right? So if you've got a quad that you can get through that track and it can fly for 10 minutes, that's one way to approach it. Something with maybe like 2-blade 6-inch or 2-blade 7-inch.
Block 716, yeah, my bad. I only checked 853 cells. I lied, I guess. Good night, dudes.
All right, Havlock. We'll see you this weekend. So yeah, after we do a little 250 action, then we'll try out this new Lone Star Enduro that we came up with at our last safety meeting. And like I said, so you could try to fly for 10 minutes with 1 quad, 1 battery. If you don't have anything that can do that, then you can try some pit stopping.
Force 2,200, not as long as I had hoped.
Not as long. What Fender? What kind of setup? What just like on your regular quad with a big battery, right? It's diminishing returns, right? You don't put bigger props on it. That extra capacity is burned up just honking around that extra weight, right?
Matt Fender, my regular SIXS quad. Matt Fender, it was just under 6
Just under 6 minutes. That's not too bad, right? So you could run the 6 minutes, right? And then like tap out and see if you are able to put in more laps than anybody else. You know, because it would be most laps 10 minutes. So you got 10 minutes to figure out how you can put the most laps in, right? So if you can pit, and we're gonna try a couple things to try to pit safely. You know, we'll have a tent set up for landing away from everybody. So we're not gonna come in and pit in front of ourselves at the flight line, because that's just gonna like blast everybody else's video out, right? So
16, I can run 12 to 15 minutes.
There's gonna be
gates are bugger than are at L.
Yeah.
Fender, I was hoping to stop with one run on that bat, then one bat on SIXS.
Yep.
Matt Fender, I was going to run 2 quads.
Two quads. Aha. That's the other. Yeah. That's the other option, right? 2 quads. Put one down and then throw the other one up in the air. I don't know if we really discussed that. That's you just gave away the best secret you had. That's that's a good approach too. So yeah, I'll probably set like one of the tents up off to the side.
Fender, don't change the bat.
And we can
plug the new one in.
Yep. That'd probably save almost a minute of time, right? Screwing around. I like the way you're thinking. I hope Lone Star's prepared to get his butt handed to him in his own Lone Star Enduro.
Matt Fender, there's only like 3 people here. I'm not concerned. Havlock 716, brilliant.
Whoa, easy Fender. Listen, we're trying. I know you're not taking a shot at me for not having many people here. But according to my stream deck, it says there's 7 people.
Matt Fender, who's here?
I don't know. I just have a number. I have 2. It says I have 2 people on Twitch and 5 people on YouTube. Total of 7. I don't know who else is there. There's some people lurkers. Where's my lurkers at? Kremnit Ram, are you lurking right now? Or did you fall asleep? Smarky's probably actually got the computer running and he's asleep. So, okay, anyways. Yeah, that's gonna do it for me for tonight. Almost 11 o'clock. Cool. And yeah, so I'll see everybody on Saturday morning. I have some more
Smarky
excavating to do. Smarky! Oh, Smarky, you're still up. Good to see you. We gonna see you on Saturday, Smarky? I hope so.
Nitram 1.
Marty's not lurking. He's still here. Marty, you coming out to... I don't know. You coming out to play on Saturday? You should get a quad, Marty. That way you can play. Why don't you win this one? Marty, I'll give you some extra weight on the wheel when we spin the wheel for this quad. How's that sound? Anyhow, now that I said that, if you were to win, I would look like a big time cheater. I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Cool. So I'm excited for this weekend to try out some of our new classes and stuff like that. And I have to go continue running my excavator that I have sitting in the backyard digging ditches.
PV, his name isn't Marty.
His name isn't Marty? There it is. I see Marty. You just gotta look hard.
Rigged.
Where is my wheel anyways? I talked about the wheel. Where's my wheel? There it is. I need to modify this wheel. we need to put some more names on it. Any idea how I made that wheel? There's some more software on this computer that allows me to change those names. Let's see if I can remember what it is. Did it start with a D? No, not Discord. Not Restream. Streamlabs? Is that what it was? Help me out here. Streamlabs dashboard. Logging in. All right. Spinning wheel. Spin wheel. Okay, let's remove that person. We got Smarky, Fender, Cram, Knitram. Pumpkin Bob is on there. Pumpkin Bob in here tonight? Oh, you gotta be in here to oh, this is for maiden. This isn't for winning it. This is who gets to maiden this thing. Okay, so he's down on the beach, so we'll take Pumpkin Bob out. Pumpkin Bob is rolling around in the sand right now. And let's add, who else do I see over here? Ben B. And oh shit, I hit delete all. Ben B. And Fender. And Marky. And I'm just going to put Cram Knitram in there. And he can maiden this thing, right? Marty, you can fly, right? Havelock. Alright, who else do I got? Anybody else in there? Okay, I got 5 names. Let me give you some colors on the pie wheel here. Okay. Everybody have equal weight? Do I have to show... I have to show everybody that it is equal weight? Save settings. Okay. Can you guys even read that? Well, if you can't read it, I've got Ben is in red, Fender is in yellow, Smarky is in green, Marty is in like cyan, and Havelock is in purple. I'm gonna hit my wheel spinny button here. Are you guys ready? Who gets to maiden? That was a long spin. Marty, you get to maiden it. You coming out Saturday? I swear, I'm all right. I'm gonna have to show that everybody has equal weight on here. Okay. Section weights 1 1 1 1 1. Okay. We're definitely all at the same weight. So okay, Marty can't fly. Let's try that one more time. Marty, you can't win this time. The pilot that is going to maiden our King of Hearts is in red. Benny Mac, you get to maiden this thing. Please don't treat it like your outdoor quads. Please treat this like your indoor Benny Mac whoop. Alright guys, I'll see you Saturday. That's it for me. Alright, good night.